Okay, so I want to start out today giving you a little bit of an update of where we are and where we're going. So this is a course specific video, and it may change from time to time, but again, this is just going to be a heads up for what we're doing. From the syllabus, you can see that the first week what we did was we covered the simple regression, and then the video that didn't show up was this other purposes of regression, which was an introduction to this coming week's material. So what I plan to do in, 7 videos this week is to go over the contribution of multiple predictors, linear interaction effects, simple nonlinear relationships, categorical predictors, nested data, nonlinear interaction effects, and analysis of non-continuous dependent variables. Whoops, that seems to have run off. There we go. Okay, so and as you can see that the reading chapter 1 and chapter 2 and Fox chapter 4, as I mentioned, those of you who are not using R may find that Fox is useful because at least it goes into more detail. Now, several of you asked me whether you should buy Fox or not, and I've said that I prefer that you not buy a whole lot of books that you don't need. But this is a book that I think everybody could benefit from, and let me give you the rationale for why you should consider buying it, or at a minimum borrow one of your classmates' books and copy off a few of the chapters. Cohen and Cohen focus on what's called the deterministic model, and the deterministic model has to do with the B's and the A's and hypothesis testing, because that's what psychologists focus on. Whereas Fox has a different orientation. His perspective is more of the stochastic model, or diagnosing and understanding how regression can be interpreted, but also the threats to interpretation that come from all sorts of oddities. And today, or at least this week, what you're going to find is some of the oddities that Fox talks about with respect to the stochastic model are relevant for interpreting the deterministic model. So here, this week, we're going to merge some of the Cohen and Cohen material along with Fox. Now, since there's no reading for this week, what I recommend that everybody do is get a jump on some of the reading that's coming up. So you can see that, excuse me, we have Barry and Cohen chapter 4. At this point, you should have been through chapters 1 and 2 for Cohen and read through chapter 4 for Fox. For next week, the assumptions of regression, I'm going to go through in all detail in multiple videos about what those assumptions are. And that is going to be Barry, the entire Green Book, along with Cohen chapter 4. So if you haven't purchased Barry, now's the time. You need to get it on rush orders because you definitely want to read it. And then eventually we're going to get to chapters 3 and 5. So at this point, you probably want to, it'll be easiest if you read Cohen in serial order. So I would recommend that you read chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4 at this point, and then hold off on chapter 5 for a bit, because then you can read Barry, and then the following week you can read chapter 5. So that's just my recommendation. Again, I just wanted this to be a short video to orient everybody to what we're doing this week. So stay tuned for 7 videos.